Childhood abuse can have a lasting impact on someone's life. It can cause them to be insecure and have intimacy issues. If the abuse is severe, it can also lead to post-traumatic stress disorder. We want to raise awareness about the dangers of child abuse and provide support to those affected by it. So let's get into it. Here are 5 different types of child abuse. Number 1. Name-calling. While it may seem like a harmless act, it can actually be a form of child abuse. When parents or caregivers use derogatory language towards a child, it can damage their self-esteem and cause them to feel worthless. It can also lead to anxiety and depression. If you're concerned that your child is being verbally abused, look for signs of emotional distress, such as withdrawn behavior, low self-esteem, and anxiety. Reach out to a trusted adult or counselor for support. Number 2. Sexual abuse. Child sex abuse can include anything from touching to rape. It can happen to both boys and girls of any age. The effects of child sex abuse can be very serious. They can last a lifetime. Some common effects of child sex abuse include loneliness, guilt, worthlessness, trust issues, trouble in school or with friends, drug abuse, and future relationships. If you are a victim of child sex abuse, it is important to remember that it is not your fault. No one deserves to be abused. There is help available. Number 3. Physical abuse. No one knows how many children are physically abused each year. It is clear that this number is large and that child physical abuse is a major social problem. Most people think of physical abuse as involving violence, such as hitting, kicking, shaking, or burning, but any action that results in physical injury to a child can be considered abuse. Physical abuse often occurs along with other forms of abuse, such as emotional abuse and neglect. It can also be a part of a pattern of violence in the home, such as domestic violence. This can have lasting effects on the victim. The outcome may not be immediately apparent, but can show up later in life. Number 4. Neglect. According to the National Child Abuse and Neglect Data System, NCANDS, neglect is the most common form of child abuse in the United States. Child neglect is defined as a failure to provide for a child's basic needs. This can include providing adequate food, clothing, shelter, medical care, or supervision. While child neglect can have severe consequences for a child's physical and mental health, it is often difficult to identify. This is because there is no one-size-fits-all definition of neglect. What might be considered neglectful in one family may not be regarded as sloppy in another. For example, a family that lives in poverty may not be able to provide their child with the same quality or quantity of the food as a family that is not in poverty. However, this does not mean the family living in poverty neglects their child. If you suspect that a child is being neglected, it is essential to trust your instincts and reach out for help. Number 5. Helicopter parenting. In recent years, the term helicopter parent has become increasingly popular. Helicopter parents are those who are overly involved in their children's lives and constantly hover over them in an attempt to protect them from harm. While the intention of helicopter parents is often good, their excessive involvement can actually do more harm than good. For one, helicopter parenting can foster a sense of dependency in children. Because their parents are always there to catch them, they never learn to cope with disappointment or setbacks on their own. This can make them ill-prepared to deal with the challenges of adulthood. In addition, helicopter parenting can also make children feel suffocated and unable to express themselves. Children may feel like they have to conform to their parents' expectations and may be unable to be themselves. So, while the intention of helicopter parents is often good, their excessive involvement can do more harm than good. Parents must strike a balance between being supportive and giving their children the space to grow and learn independently. What forms of child abuse do you think are the most harmful? Please leave your comments below and let us know your thoughts. If you see any child going through abuse, reach out to support and inform the appropriate authorities.